Stop scrolling for a second because the universe has just approved your financial breakthrough, and most people will miss it. Not because it wasn't sent, but because they were too busy. Do stay with me for the next few minutes. Because if you understand what I'm about to tell you, you'll never chase money again. You'll attract it naturally, effortlessly, divinely. You've prayed for change. You've visualized, manifested, declared. But what if I told you the breakthrough wasn't waiting for God's permission? It was waiting for yours. Most people talk about lack like it's a friend. I can't afford this. Money never stays with me. Life is unfair. And every time you say that you send an instruction to the universe, keep it away. But today something shifts. Today you speak well fluently. You act like someone who already received the approval letter from heaven because you have. This isn't motivation. This is confirmation. When Dr. David Yonggi Cho said that the unseen world governs the seen world, he wasn't speaking philosophy. He was revealing a principle. Your finances don't begin in your bank account. They begin in your belief account. And for too long you've been overdrafting on doubt. The universe doesn't respond to panic. It responds to peace. It moves when you stop chasing and start trusting. Imagine this. Your financial destiny has already been released like a package from heaven. But you've been standing at the wrong address, rehearsing your scarcity instead of expecting delivery. When you start saying, I am ready, things begin to locate you. Opportunities, ideas, divine connections, they all rush to match your readiness. You don't need another strategy. You need permission from yourself. Permission to be rich without guilt, to receive without apology, to believe without proof. And here's the truth. Money isn't moral or immoral. It's magnetic. Recapio Creative Daily YouTube recaps in your inbox. Stop listening for hours. Start reading in minutes. Every morning at 8:00 a.m., our AI-powered digest lands in your inbox with all key insights from your favorite YouTube channel. Start your daily recaps. Sponsored, it moves toward those who are emotionally available for abundance. Energy alignment is the invisible foundation of every financial and spiritual breakthrough. It's the inner state that determines what you attract, how you respond, and what level of blessing you are prepared to hold. Many people pray, affirm, and visualize wealth, yet still feel stuck because their energy is in conflict with what they say they desire. The universe doesn't respond to words alone. It responds to vibration, emotion, and belief. When your words say, I am rich, but your energy says, I am afraid, the universe reads the emotion, not the statement. Energy alignment means bringing your thoughts, emotions, and expectations into harmony with abundance, not lack. It's not about pretending life is perfect. It's about training your frequency to reflect faith, gratitude, and peace even before the evidence shows up. Every thought you think carries a vibration. When those thoughts are wrapped in fear, guilt, or scarcity, you unconsciously block the very blessings you're praying for. People often confuse effort with alignment. They think working harder, staying up later, or hustling endlessly will force a breakthrough. But hustle without harmony leads to exhaustion, not expansion. True abundance flows through calm confidence, not chaotic striving. Energy alignment begins when you stop chasing outcomes and start embodying the energy of already having it. Imagine waking up and feeling the same peace and joy you believe money will bring. That emotion becomes a signal to the universe, a form of permission that says, I am ready to receive. There is a deep spiritual principle behind this. The external world is a mirror of your internal vibration. What you carry within you multiplies outside you. If your mind is constantly on alert, fearing that opportunities will disappear or money will run out, that frequency becomes your reality. You can't attract what you secretly fear. The universe matches your frequency, not your wishes. That's why the first step in financial breakthrough is not strategy, but stillness. Tuning your internal state to gratitude and expectancy. Gratitude is one of the highest frequencies available to humans because it communicates satisfaction and trust. When you're thankful even before receiving, you're telling the universe that you trust its timing. That faith magnetizes provision. Energy alignment also involves self-worth. You cannot attract abundance you don't believe you deserve. Many people carry subconscious guilt around wealth, thinking it makes them selfish, materialistic, or disconnected from spirituality. But money is neutral. It amplifies your current nature. If your heart is generous, wealth only gives you a larger stage to express that generosity. Aligning your energy means removing shame from success, releasing the fear of being judged for prosperity, and understanding that wealth is one of the ways divine energy expresses itself through you. This alignment also transforms how you speak. Every time you say, "I can't afford this," or "money never comes easily," you're reaffirming a reality of lack. But when you begin to speak from the vibration of faith, "Money flows easily to me. I always have what I need. The universe is working in my favor." You shift your internal wiring. Your nervous system begins to relax. Your creative ideas expand and you start noticing opportunities that were invisible before. Energy alignment is not about controlling the outside world. It's about mastering your inner atmosphere. When your energy is clear, your thoughts are elevated and your emotions are peaceful. The universe responds with synchronicities. The right people, doors, and timing begin to align effortlessly. You stop forcing outcomes and start flowing with divine timing. Every financial miracle you've ever prayed for is already vibrating in a higher frequency. The moment you rise to match it emotionally, you meet it physically. Permission shift is the silent turning point between waiting for abundance and living in it. Most people think wealth, success, or divine favor is something they must earn through struggle, perfection, or relentless effort. They believe they need to qualify for prosperity to prove they are worthy enough, spiritual enough, or disciplined enough before the universe releases blessings. But this belief creates an invisible wall. It places abundance somewhere far away, tied to conditions that are never fully met. The truth is that the universe already said yes. The energy of abundance is available to everyone at every moment. The only thing missing is your permission. The moment you allow yourself to receive it without guilt, fear, or hesitation. Many people pray for miracles, but secretly doubt whether they deserve them. They say they want wealth, but feel unworthy of success, afraid it might change them or distance them from others. They imagine blessings as rewards instead of natural expressions of divine generosity. This mental pattern blocks flow. The permission shift happens when you stop treating abundance like a prize and start seeing it as your inheritance. You are not earning approval from heaven. You are stepping into what was already yours. Permission is not a word. It's a state of surrender. It's when you stop resisting your own good by thinking small, apologizing for wanting more, or feeling guilty for being blessed. This shift requires awareness. For years, many people internalize messages that wealth must come from sacrifice or suffering. They adopt subconscious beliefs such as money is hard to make, good people struggle, or humility means lack. These beliefs may sound moral or spiritual, but they actually limit divine flow. The universe doesn't withhold abundance. Human conditioning does. When you shift permission, you reprogram your inner dialogue. You stop asking, "Am I allowed to live abundantly?" and start affirming, I was created to thrive. That single change in perspective transforms the energy around you. It opens invisible doors because you no longer push away what's trying to reach you. Permission is emotional alignment with worthiness. It's saying yes to yourself when your old patterns still whisper no. It's being willing to stand in the energy of wealth before any proof appears. When you give yourself permission to receive, you silence the inner critic that measures your value by effort or results. You stop bargaining with the universe and you start partnering with it. You stop saying, once I do this, then I'll be blessed, and you start saying, I am blessed now, and from that blessing I create more. That mindset magnetizes experiences, people and ideas that match your vibration of readiness. Every time you hold back from claiming your abundance, whether through self-doubt, comparison, or fear of judgment, you reinforce a story of lack. But when you shift that permission, even quietly in your heart, everything changes. You start noticing new opportunities, attracting new support, and moving with greater confidence. It's not that the world suddenly becomes easier. It's that your energy becomes open enough to see what was always there. This shift dissolves the false boundary between the spiritual and the material. It reminds you that abundance is not separate from faith. It's an extension of it. The permission shift is ultimately about trust. Trusting that you don't have to chase approval from people or divine forces to receive what's already assigned to you. Trusting that you can be humble and prosperous at the same time. Trusting that wanting more does not make you greedy. It makes you a steward of potential. When you finally say yes to the life waiting for you, your frequency rises and the universe matches it instantly. The approval you've been praying for was never pending. It was only waiting for you to give it to yourself. Spoken word power is one of the most profound forces in shaping your financial and spiritual reality. Words are not empty sounds, they are energetic blueprints that instruct the universe on what to create in your life. Every time you speak, you send out a vibration that either builds or breaks your future. The moment you speak about lack, fear, or limitation, you are giving those emotions form and authority. When you declare faith, gratitude, and abundance, you breathe life into your blessings. The universe is sound sensitive. It vibrates in harmony with the energy behind your words. This is why the ancient wisdom of speak, those things which are not as though they were, remains timeless. What you speak repeatedly becomes what you experience habitually. Most people underestimate how deeply their words affect their financial flow. They say things like, I'm always broke, I can't afford that, or money never stays with me, without realizing they are reinforcing a self-fulfilling prophecy. These phrases may feel harmless or even humorous, but they carry spiritual weight. Each negative statement about your finances programs your subconscious mind to search for evidence that supports it. Over time, you begin to live out the story your words wrote. The universe doesn't interpret sarcasm or excuses. It reads vibration. When your speech is rooted in lack, you attract more situations that match that vibration. But when your speech aligns with gratitude, power, and faith, everything around you begins to align in your favor. The creative force of words begins internally. You cannot speak abundance if your mind is saturated with doubt. That's why awareness is the first step to transforming your language. Listen to yourself carefully. Notice how often you complain, downplay your potential, or speak fear into existence. The more you become conscious of your words, the more control you gain over your energy. Speaking abundance is not about pretending life is perfect. It's about choosing language that empowers you instead of draining you. Even small shifts like changing "I can't afford this" to "I'm choosing to invest wisely" Send a new instruction to the universe, one of control and expectation instead of limitation. Dr. David Yonggi Cho emphasized that words are containers of power because they are born from the spirit. What you repeatedly speak reveals what you truly believe. If you want to change your financial reality, you must first change the script that runs through your mouth every day. The subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between truth and repetition. It simply accepts whatever it hears most often as reality. That's why affirmations work when they are spoken consistently with belief and emotion. When you say, "I am abundant, money flows easily to me," or "I am divinely supported," you are not lying. You are pre-writing your future. Speaking abundance also strengthens faith. Each word you declare builds a new mental pathway that aligns your thoughts, emotions, and actions with prosperity. The more you affirm success, the more your behavior begins to support it. You start to notice new opportunities, act with greater confidence, and take bolder steps because your internal narrative has shifted. The energy of your words creates momentum. They turn unseen potential into visible progress. Silence, too, has power. Sometimes the best way to honor your words is to withhold speech that carries negativity. When you stop feeding conversations of lack and drama, you conserve energy for declarations of truth. Every positive word you speak is a seed, and every negative word is a weed. The harvest you experience tomorrow depends on which you choose to plant today. The universe listens to your words as instructions, not questions. When you speak with conviction, faith, and gratitude, heaven aligns to fulfill what you have declared. Your financial breakthrough begins not in your account, but in your mouth. Invisible approval is the truth that abundance has already been authorized in your life, even before you see any visible proof. Most people spend years waiting for a sign from the universe, a confirmation from God or permission from circumstances before they allow themselves to believe they are worthy of wealth. But the spiritual reality is that the approval was never pending. The divine yes was spoken over you the moment you were created. The only reason it feels delayed is because you are still arguing with what has already been granted. The universe does not hold back your blessing. It simply mirrors your readiness to receive. When you doubt yourself, you block the channel through which that invisible approval becomes visible results. Invisible approval means that abundance is not something to earn, it's something to accept. Most people live as though they are on spiritual probation, constantly trying to prove they are worthy of good things. They work tirelessly, pray anxiously, and wait nervously for life to finally validate them. But that very mindset keeps them stuck in a loop of striving instead of receiving. The truth is, you are already approved, already chosen, already favored. The challenge is to stop saying no to the yes that has already been spoken. When you continue to doubt, fear, or delay your own readiness, you're not waiting on God or the universe. It's waiting on you to agree. This invisible approval is what faith is built on. Faith is not trying to convince God to move. It is moving as though He already has. It's the ability to act with confidence before the evidence appears. When you understand that your financial breakthrough and abundance are already authorized, your energy shifts. You stop begging for opportunities and start preparing for them. You stop asking if you're worthy and start behaving like someone who already received divine confirmation. This inner certainty radiates outward, attracting the right people, doors, and ideas that align with your new frequency of assurance. When you live unaware of your invisible approval, you become reactive to circumstances. Every delay feels like rejection, and every obstacle feels like denial. But those delays are not denials. They are divine timing shaping your capacity to hold what you asked for. Approval without readiness can destroy potential. That's why sometimes the universe hides the manifestation until your belief is strong enough to sustain it. The approval never changes. What changes is your level of awareness and alignment. Once you know you're approved, you stop comparing yourself to others because their success doesn't threaten your portion. Your approval is individual and irreversible. Invisible approval also dissolves the need for external validation. Too many people postpone their greatness waiting for others to recognize them. They wait for applause before taking action, forgetting that true approval doesn't come from the crowd. It comes from the Creator. When you know you're already approved, criticism loses its sting and praise loses its hold. You no longer perform for acceptance. You create from assurance. This shift in consciousness makes your actions more powerful because they are no longer driven by insecurity, but by purpose. The energy of invisible approval teaches you to rest even while you build. You can take inspired action without panic because you know the outcome is already settled in your favor. It allows you to move boldly toward your goals with the quiet confidence that what belongs to you cannot pass you by. Every financial opportunity, every connection, every divine resource is already aligned with your name on it. You're not waiting for the universe to notice you. It's been waiting for you to notice that you were already noticed. The invisible approval is not a distant promise. It's a present reality waiting for your belief to catch up. Faith activation is the moment when belief stops being a concept and becomes a living force that shapes reality. It is the inner shift from hoping something will happen to knowing it already has. Many people think faith is simply believing in something unseen. But true faith is deeper than belief. It's trust in motion. It's what happens when you start behaving as if the answer is already delivered, even when your senses haven't caught up yet. Faith activation is the energy that bridges the invisible approval of the universe with visible manifestation. Without it, even the greatest promise remains dormant. Faith is not waiting for proof, it is the proof. It's the vibration that tells the universe you are ready to receive. When you say you have faith, but continue to speak words of fear or make decisions rooted in doubt, your vibration sends mixed signals. You can't declare abundance while emotionally rehearsing scarcity. Faith is consistency between your expectation, your emotion, and your action. It's standing in peace even when your bank account is low, knowing that lack is temporary and provision is already on its way. It's the spiritual technology that transforms thought into form. Every major breakthrough in life, whether financial, emotional, or spiritual, begins when faith is no longer intellectual but embodied. Dr. David Yonggi Cho taught that faith is the substance of things hoped for, meaning it's not just an attitude but a tangible energy that shapes the unseen into the seen. When faith is activated, you stop trying to control the how and start trusting the when. You don't need to see every detail because you know the outcome is secured. Faith is not blind optimism, it's divine alignment. It doesn't ignore reality, it transforms it. When you act from faith, every step you take becomes a declaration of certainty. You pay attention to possibilities instead of obstacles. You look for confirmation instead of contradiction. Faith activation also requires emotional discipline. The greatest challenge is not believing once, but maintaining belief in the face of delay. When things move slower than expected, most people default to doubt, but every delay is a test of consistency. Can you hold your frequency of belief when nothing seems to be happening? The universe measures readiness not by how much you desire something, but by how steady your faith remains when the evidence contradicts it. True faith doesn't fluctuate with emotion, it deepens through resistance. The moment you choose to stay in gratitude instead of fear, even when results haven't shown up, you've activated faith. That vibration pulls miracles out of the invisible realm into your experience. Faith is also expressed through words and behavior. When you truly believe abundance is yours, your language reflects it. You stop saying, "I'm waiting for a miracle," and start saying, "I'm living in expectation." You stop approaching opportunities with hesitation and begin moving with assurance. Every faith-driven action, every risk taken, every affirmation spoken, every seed sown signals to the universe that you trust the process. The universe mirrors that energy back by releasing what aligns with your belief. Faith activation dissolves the need for control. It's realizing that your job is alignment, not management. You are not responsible for how the universe delivers. You are responsible for staying open to receive. When faith becomes your operating system, you stop questioning timing and start mastering readiness. The peace that follows is magnetic. Resources, people, and solutions begin to appear in perfect rhythm because faith reorganizes reality to match your conviction. The moment faith becomes active, lack loses its authority and abundance becomes inevitable. Emotional calibration is the process of tuning your inner feelings to match the vibration of abundance rather than lack. It is the emotional alignment that determines whether your prayers, affirmations, and intentions find resonance with the universe. Most people focus on words or actions, but overlook the emotional tone behind them. You can speak affirmations all day, but if your emotions carry fear, guilt, or anxiety, the vibration you send out contradicts your message. The universe responds not to the surface of your words, but to the energy beneath them. Emotional calibration means learning to feel now what you expect to experience later. It's about becoming emotionally fluent in gratitude, peace, and certainty before the physical evidence appears. Your emotions are not random. They are frequencies that broadcast your current energetic state. When your emotions are heavy with worry or scarcity, you unconsciously attract situations that mirror that frequency. You can't magnetize prosperity while emotionally living in fear of losing it. The energy of abundance flows through emotions like appreciation, joy, generosity, and calm trust. When you calibrate yourself emotionally to those frequencies, you begin to harmonize with divine flow. This harmony doesn't just make you feel better. It changes the kind of opportunities that find you. The universe recognizes emotional signals faster than verbal requests. Gratitude especially is the emotional password that unlocks higher frequencies of provision. It tells the universe you are already satisfied and ready for more. Emotional calibration also involves awareness. Many people are emotionally unconscious. They don't realize how often they dwell in frustration, comparison, or hopelessness. Those emotions become their default settings. To recalibrate, you must first observe your emotional patterns without judgment. Notice when you start to feel anxious about money or impatient about progress. Those moments are not failures. They're invitations to realign. Instead of feeding the emotion with fear-based thoughts, pause and redirect your focus towards something that evokes appreciation. Gratitude immediately shifts your frequency because it turns attention away from what's missing to what's already given. The process of calibration is gradual. It's like tuning a musical instrument. The more often you do it, the purer the sound becomes. When you practice emotional balance daily, your energy stabilizes and abundance begins to flow more consistently. Meditation, journaling, visualization, and quiet moments of thankfulness are powerful ways to reset your emotional state. Even a simple act like consciously breathing in peace and exhaling tension recalibrates your energy. Emotional stability becomes your wealth foundation because it keeps you open to creative inspiration and divine guidance. In chaos, you react. In peace, you receive. Dr. David Yonggi Cho often spoke about the heart as the birthplace of miracles. What lives in your heart eventually shapes your world. Emotional calibration purifies that heart energy so that what flows out of it is consistent with faith. When your emotions align with trust and expectation, your actions naturally follow. You make wiser decisions, recognize divine timing more clearly, and attract relationships that mirror your inner peace. Abundance doesn't come to those who chase it. It comes to those whose emotions already match its vibration. Another part of calibration is releasing emotional debt, resentment, shame, and past disappointments. These feelings anchor you to lower vibrations and block new energy from entering. The moment you forgive, you lighten your frequency and create space for blessings. You cannot carry old pain into new prosperity. Every time you let go of bitterness or fear, your vibration rises closer to abundance. Emotional calibration is the discipline of staying grateful even when you can't see results yet, maintaining joy even when logic says you shouldn't, and trusting that divine flow never fails. When your emotions are balanced in gratitude and peace, you become a perfect match for abundance, and the universe has no choice but to respond. Divine timing is the unseen rhythm that governs when and how your manifestations appear. It is not a delay or denial, but a process of alignment between your readiness and your request. Many people become impatient when their desires don't manifest immediately. They assume something is wrong or that the universe has ignored them. But in reality, divine timing is the universe organizing circumstances, people, and opportunities in perfect sequence, so that your blessing arrives when you are capable of sustaining it. The pause you call delay is often preparation. Every unanswered prayer carries a hidden instruction. Hold on, something greater is aligning. The human mind is conditioned to want control. It measures time in hours and days while the universe moves through seasons and readiness. When you try to rush divine timing, you invite anxiety. You start comparing yourself to others, doubting your worth and questioning whether you're doing enough. But divine timing is not about doing, it's about becoming. The version of you who will hold the abundance you're asking for might still be under construction. The universe is not punishing you by waiting. It's protecting you from receiving something you're not yet equipped to manage. When you learn to trust the rhythm instead of fight it, you discover that everything truly arrives on schedule. Dr. David Yonggi Cho taught that the unseen world governs the seen world, and this includes time. Every delay in the physical is often movement in the spiritual. While you are waiting, unseen forces are aligning people, preparing resources and creating opportunities that will intersect with you at the right moment. Divine timing ensures that blessings do not become burdens. If success arrives too early, it can destroy the very peace it was meant to bring. But when it comes at the right time, it fits effortlessly as if the universe had been saving it just for you. This is why faith during waiting seasons is so important. Faith keeps your energy high while the timing unfolds. Divine timing also teaches humility. It reminds you that control is an illusion, and that surrender is a form of strength. When you release the urge to force outcomes, you make room for divine orchestration. The moment you stop demanding when and start trusting how peace replaces frustration, you begin to notice subtle signs, coincidences, intuitive nudges, or unexpected opportunities, all confirming that the universe is quietly working behind the scenes. Timing is never late. It's precise. It arrives the second your inner world matches your outer desire. That is why preparation and patience are twin keys of manifestation. In periods of waiting, the most powerful thing you can do is to grow. Use the pause to strengthen faith, clarify intention, and refine gratitude. Waiting is not wasted time when it is filled with wisdom. The universe never forgets your requests. It stores them until the energy around you is ready to sustain them. This readiness is emotional, spiritual, and mental. If you received everything you wanted instantly, there would be no expansion of character, no strengthening of faith, no appreciation for the process. Divine timing shapes you into the person capable of handling divine responsibility. There's an invisible order in how blessings flow. Every event in your life has been part of that choreography. Nothing random, nothing lost. The people who left, the opportunities that fell through, the moments that didn't make sense, all of them were part of a perfect design preparing the path for your abundance. When you align with this understanding, you stop resisting and start flowing. The peace that comes from trusting divine timing is magnetic. It attracts everything meant for you faster because your energy no longer interferes with the process.